In our previous lesson, Mrs. Becker introduced us to the Daniel Boone family, and we revisited immigration. Today, I'd like you to remind you of our classroom discussions. When the early settlements became crowded, people moved out west to get more land. They settled new frontiers, searching for gold and a place to call home. The move west was difficult and long, and horse-drawn, covered wagons. This period was called Manifest Destiny, if you care to look up anything more on the subject. In the 1860s, over 150 years ago, the Transcontinental Railroad was completed. This made the crossing of our country to the west much easier. Many immigrants, particularly the Chinese, helped to build our great railroads. You can read more about this in our social studies lesson for this week from Scholastic News. Listen to the rumbling of the trains around the track. Hear the whistle blow. This week we can read a little bit more about where the railroads came from and how they got started. Let's just take a closer look at the early steam engines. Steam engines such as this model were the very first ones that were used. You can see that the steam was produced with wood instead of coal at this point. And you can see the stack on the engine looks very different. Then the models became more like this, where the steam engines became stronger and they were able to pull heavier loads. In this steam engine, you can see that it's driven by coal, and this is more in the 1900s. Over time, the engines changed even more. They were still driven by steam, but they looked a little different in the early 1900s to 1950. After 1950, we took a different change with our railroads, and now the engines were driven by diesel. So the steam was no longer the primary source. So railroads continue to move materials and people forward from city to city and across this country. Okay, enjoy this, folks, and we'll have more things up for you to watch a little later. Thank you.